So hi, all. Today I'll be dealing with the themes in your Anandamurti Samskara. So my friends have already talked about the plot, characters, setting of this novel. So today I'll be dealing with the themes in this novel. So moving on, there are mainly five themes in this novel: theme of social stratification, theme of religion and spirituality, theme of identity and self-discovery, theme of suffering, and theme of hope and despair. So moving on to the first theme, that is theme of social stratification. The theme of social stratification is central to the novel Samskara by U.R. Anandamurti. The novel is set in a Brahmin community in a small village in South India and portrays the rigid hierarchical system and social status that governs the lives of the characters. The major theme in this novel is this the kind of social stratification, like the impact of the kind of segregation created between different communities in the society. So we know that we know about the problems that exist in the present society due to this caste system and class system that is existing. The same kind of theme is portrayed in this novel also. The novel clearly represents or portrays how the caste system or the class system can impact the lives of, can affect the lives of the people in different uh, how this class system or the caste system can affect the lives of the people. Mainly there are two kinds of caste caste we can see in this novel, like the Brahmin community and the Dalits. So the Brahmin community in the novel is highly stratified with different caste and subcaste occupying distinct social positions, and the other castes such as Dalits and untouchables are relegated to the lowest ranks of the social ladder and are subjected to various forms of discrimination and exclusion. The Brahmin community, where the Naranapa, Praneshacharya, etc., existed, considered themselves as superior. Brahmins consider themselves as like they equalize themselves with gods. Like, they consider themselves as gods. Like, they have the supreme power to take decisions over any matters. Like, if something happens in the society, their decisions will be the ultimate decisions. So no matter what the right or wrong will be, the decisions taken by the Brahmins will be the ultimate decision. So in the novel also we can see several situations where the Brahmin exercise their power of taking decisions on various matters. Whereas the Dalits whereas the Dalits are not even given the chance to like, enjoy their basic rights. They are denied their right to food, right to education, or basic rights. Like we can see when in the case of this lady named Deli or Chandri, they are women. Like, they too are human beings, but they are considered as sluts or whores. Like, they are not even considered as human beings. They are considered as some commodities. Women in the Dalit community, not even in the Dalit community, especially women in the Dalit community, are considered as commodities. In the novel, we can see several situations where women in the community are considered as sluts. Coming back to the topic, Dalits and untouchables are face a lot of discrimination or exclusion in the society. So the novel represents a critique of the caste system and its associated values and shows how it creates deep-seated injustice and inequalities that impact the lives of millions of people in India. This is a critic. So the novel takes a critical approach towards the caste system that exists in India. So social stratification made people blind. Yeah, we know that in this novel we can see many situations where people are blinded due to this the uh, segregation, uh, social segregation. Like just because they belong to the upper class, they uh, take a inhuman approach towards the people belonging to the lower society, or sometimes they become blind. We can see in the case of Narayanappa. When Narayanappa died, Pranesh Acharya was faced a dilemma whether he should conduct the cremation of Narayanappa. Even if Narayanappa belonged to the uh, same Brahmin community, just because he rebelled against the Brahmins, uh, Ganesh Acharya was in a doubt whether he should conduct the cremation process of Narayanappa. Here we can see that Ganesh Acharya was facing that kind of dilemma just because he was torn in between the kind of practices that he practiced, kind of custom he practiced from his very young age onwards, and John and the kind of like the kind of humanity that existed in himself. He was in a doubt whether he should follow his humanitarian side or whether he should act according to the customs and traditions that he practiced from his very childhood onwards. So, so this is what I meant by the social stratification made people blind. They are not even having the right to take decisions. They are not having the right mind to take decisions according to their instincts. They even if they wanted to follow their instincts or they wanted to take decisions according to their humanity. They are not able to take such decisions because the customs and the traditions uh, that existed in the community is having a great influence on this character. So this is very evident from the situation of Ramesh Acharya when he was forced to take a decision regarding the commission process of Maranatha. So inhumane treatment towards women. So this is a very similar case. We can see when women are treated, when women are considered, women, especially women in the lower caste are considered, they are treated as like commodities. They are not even given the basic human rights, or they are not even considered as women. They are just considered as commodities for sexual pleasure or sexual gratification, etc. So moving on, if someone rebels, he or she will suffer. So yeah, we can see in the present scenario, or in the present society also, we can see the very similar case. So if someone rebels against this caste system or the class system, he or she will suffer. Sometimes they will be outcasted, or otherwise, people of the upper caste will like they might beat them up, or they will kill them, or the upcast people will start thinking about how to suppress these people. So in the case of Naranapa, we can see that he's a true rebel against the Brahmanism. So he consumes wine, invite Muslims to hog, eats meat, corrupts other young by changing their way of life from one angle to another. So he was a complete rebel against the Brahmanism, and we know how Naranapa suffered due to this. After his death, there was a dilemma. People, no one is ready to conduct his cremation process, and even if he was a Brahmin, he was outcasted. He was outcasted, and when he died, Pranesh Acharya, the superior Brahmin, priest, he was not ready to. He faced a dilemma in conducting the cremation process of Narayanapa. So even after his death, Narayanapa was supposed to um, suffer because just because he rebelled against the uh, caste system that existed in the society. So moving on, the zero respect to subaltern people. So this is another problem of the social stratification. The subaltern people belong to the Dalit community, the so-called untouchables, are not given any kind of respect. Brahmins were regarded and treated like gods in society regardless of how they live their life, no matter how the Brahmins live, whether they live a life which is uh, live a life which is against the rules, or whether they uh, leave and leave or take decisions in a inhumane way, it's not a concern. No matter how they live, they are considered as gods in society. Uh, so in the case of Dalits, even if they live a very good life by following the rules, by doing their activities according to the so according to the rules, or uh, what whether they show a good character. No matter how good their character is, they won't be given any kind of respect. They are considered as untouchable. So uh, no matter how they live, they will be given they won't be given any respect. Nonetheless, even when they have attractive personalities or physique, persons from the lower social classes are not respected or looked up to in the society. The eyes of Brahmin, a low caste woman, is over. She is targeted for selective towards me. No matter how good the character of a Dalit woman is, she will be considered as a whore. She will be considered as a commodity for gratifying the sexual needs of the upper class people. So these are the major problems associated with the social stratification, and this social stratification is a major theme of this movie. To the second theme, the theme of religion and spirituality. So the theme of religion also have a very big influence in this. The theme of religion also have a very big in, in importance in this now. So, according to the Hindu religious system, Brahmins are considered as superior. So, uh, no matter how they live, they are the ones who have the power in their hands. So, whatever their uh, character may be, what are ways they live their lives, it's not a matter of concern. They are the ones who have equal power like gods. So the religious system, like religious system where Brahmins are considered as superior and others are considered as uh, untouchable, so low caste people, is basically very unfair. Unfairness of religious system can be seen in this novel. So when other than Brahmins, means we can see that other than Brahmins, nobody is allowed to enter the premises of temple, considering the others as dirty and filthy. This can be seen in the present scenario in the present world also. In the novel also, we can see situations where Brahmins, other than Brahmins, Dalits, or the other low caste people are considered as dirty or filthy people. In the case of Chantri, Chantri was a widow, and at the same time, she was a low caste people. So she was supposed to live in a very excluded place. She was excluded from the society. She was forced to live a life of austerity and seclusion as a widow, and is ostracized by the other villages. So she was forced to live in a place which was very much far away from the village, just because she belonged to the low caste or the low caste or the uh, and she was a widow. So according to the Hindu culture, a widow is not given any respect. According to the early Hindu culture, okay. According to the early Hindu culture or the rules formulated by the Brahmins, widows were not given any kind of respect. So they were the women are considered, or the wives are considered as the reason for the death of their husbands. So they are considered as like some sinners or something like that. So they are excluded from the society and placed in a placed somewhere far away from the place where the normal people live. So this is a very example of unfairness of religious system. Second one is religion turning into a trap. Each of Ganesh Acharya's decision regarding life was subjected to the inviolable code established centuries ago. Pranesh Azari was not uh, able to take decisions according to according to his instincts. Uh, Whenever he wanted to take a decision, he was very much influenced by the codes of his codes of Brahmins, his religious texts, the things or the customs that he practiced uh, as a Brahmin from his very young age. So in the case of when he was forced to take a decision regarding the condition of Narayana, he was facing a dilemma. He was not able to take a decision regarding the issue. This was because uh, like, the religion was having a kind of negative impact. He was not able to follow his mind. Instead, he was very much influenced by his religion. So here we can see how religion is turning into a trap. Like religion make a person like turn a person into um, or put a person in the situation where he is not able to take a decision in his life. So, so moving on to the next one, rejection of religious practice is equal to greater risk. So Narayanappa, who was a Brahmin, was not ready to follow the religious practices of Brahmins, where Brahmins didn't meet or they were not allowed to talk with Muslims or make friends with Muslims, become friends with Muslims. But Narayanappa did all these things and he was outcasted. And then he died. No one was ready to conduct his cremation process. So here we can see how rejection of religious practices can create a greater risk in the life of a person. So that's why I have made this phrase: rejection of religious practices equal to greater risk. In the present scenario, in the present situation, also we can see when a Hindu, like when a girl or when a boy from a Christian community marries a Hindu, he or she won't be allowed to conduct their wedding in the church. He or she will be like thrown out of their church. They won't be allowed to conduct their marriage in their church. So the very same situation can be seen in the novel also. So yeah, rejection of religious practices it can create a greater risk in the life of a person. The next one is double standard of Brahmanism. Chantri was Narayanapa's concubine. But if Azare talked to her, he will be polluted. He would have to take a bath again before he has meat. So yeah, when it comes to the situation, when it comes to sexual gratification, uh, no matter the caste or the caste of a person, the caste of the woman is not a matter of concern. But uh, in when it comes to the But in the case of in the case of but in other cases, if a woman or if a person, like if a upper caste person or a person who belong to the Brahmin community, talk with the people who belong to the other community of the society, community of the community, he or she will become polluted. Like, you can take the very case of Chandra itself. With Chandri, when Pranesh Acharya decided to have a sexual relationship with Chandri, it was her caste uh, her, or her caste the through that or the case where she was a widow was not a matter of concern. Uh, the only thing in his mind was sexual gratification. She's a widow or she's a low caste. That was not a matter of concern. So, but when in the beginning of the law, we can say when Acharya, when the upper caste, when the upper caste people wanted to talk with the or is talked with, wanted to talk with when Acharya or the upper caste people talked with the lower caste people, they consider themselves as polluted. So they have to take a bath in order to purify them uh, before having their meal or doing other activities. So here we can see the double standard of violation. Next one is create tensions and conflict within oneself. So, as I mentioned, lesion turning into trap. This is a very simple case. It creates lesion can sometimes create a tension or conflict in oneself. Ganesha there is strong between his duty to perform the funeral rites of the outcast Maranatha and the fear of social ostracism that he will face for doing so. He was facing a delay while taking a decision regarding Maranatha's cremation. And the last one is religion is a tool for oppression. Sometimes the religious practices is a tool for oppression. According to this, the early Hindu uh, practices, a widow is considered as uh, look, the widow should be excluded from a society. They won't be given any kind of respect. They won't be even considered as human beings. So this is so the religious text or the uh, religious codes were considered or used as a tool to discriminate the women or discriminate the women, widows from the society. So this is how religion acts as a tool for oppression. So moving on to the theme of identity and self-discovery. Samskara by you are Anandamurthy showed as two stories together. One of a true religious person's conflict and one of an atheist Brahmin's life and resistance. Pranesh Acharya is a devout Brahmin who is deeply committed to the strict Brahminical traditions and customs. His main aim in his life is to live according to the Brahminical customs and maintain his Brahminical identity. So this sentence, his main aim in his life is to live according to the Brahminical customs and maintain his Brahminical identity. This sentence itself shows how uh, the the caste system or the religious text made an influence on a person. Ganesh Acharya was not able to show his real self. He was living in his life in such a way that he wanted to maintain his Brahminical identity. He lived in a life, he lived his life in such a way that he fit into he fit into uh, he fit into the characteristics prescribed by this Brahminical text. Like, he lived his life in such a way that he is a role model of a Brahmin. He created he led his life in such a way that he always stayed true towards the Brahminical customs and traditions. But in the case of Narayanapa was just born as a Brahmin, but he rejected all the artificial practices of Brahmins and clearly criticized the hypocrisy of his fellow beings. But in the case of Narayanapa, he was a man who lived according to his instincts. He was not concerned about the Brahminical traditions and customs. The only thing in his mind was that he is a human being and he has to live his life. He has the right to live his life according to the instincts. He has the right to follow his heart. So here we can see two kinds of people and how they maintain their identity or how they identify themselves. There are several instances where the character face identity crisis. Identity crisis is a very big issue in this novel. So in this novel, we can see several instances where characters face identity crisis. Ganesh Azaria's understanding about worldly affairs is deeply influenced by religious and traditional ethos of Brahmanism. He's compelled to live an uh, ascetic life by neglecting the physical aspects of his life. Ganesh Acharya was not, as I mentioned, Ganesh Acharya was not able to follow his heart. He was very much influenced by this religious and traditional ethos of Brahmanism. He was compelled to live a life according to the Brahminical tradition. He was not able to follow his heart. So the religion combined with politics plays a major role in determining the identity of an individual. Ganesh Acharya is forced to repress his feelings and emotions and remain untouched by passion. Ganesh Acharya was not able to show his real identity. He was not able to show his real self. He was living his life in such a way that he satisfied all the so-called uh, like he was living his life in such a way that no Brahmin will tell a negative comment about him. He lived his life according to like he is a real Brahminical role model. He was not- he, he didn't even gave priority to his own feelings. He was compelled, he was forced to repress his feelings and emotions and remain untouched by passion. In the North, one's identity is determined by their adherence to caste or class system that existed. Pranesh Acharya felt identity crisis when he decided to break off the shells of Brahminic customs and rituals. So, in the North, we can see that after their sexual relationship with Santi, Pranesh Acharya decided to break off the shells of Brahminic customs and rituals. But after taking such a decision, he was facing an identity crisis because from his very young onwards, he created an identity of a Brahmin. He lived his life in such a way that he's a Brahmin. He didn't consider himself as a human. Instead, he considered him as a Brahmin. So when he decided to break off his choice, he faced an identity crisis. He Some thoughts came to his mind like he's not a good human being. Like he after he decided to leave behind his Brahminical customs and traditions, he don't know who he is or how what is his worth as a human being. So he felt the identity crisis when he decided to break out the shells of Brahminic customs and rituals. That's why I mentioned that one's identity is determined by their adherence to the caste or class system. So the next one is the crisis that began with the Brahminic identity of Narayana's hopes to decide over his cremation rights transforms into a new conflict regarding his identity. The new crisis of identity awakens the Acharya in this state of awareness. Uh, Here we can see that the identity crisis that Acharya faced has helped him to understand the reality, or it created a state. It placed him into a state of awareness. He became aware about the value of life of a person, or how what's the value of the how a man should act in a humane way. Like, uh, he realized that Brahminical customs and rituals are not the only important matter in the society. People should follow their. He realized that people should follow their heart. People should take decisions according to their instincts. So it is the decision of breaking off the shells of Brahminic customs and rituals was actually a self-discovery of Ganesh. It was actually a moment of self-discovery of Ganesh Acharya. The self-discovery of Ganesh Acharya highlights the significance of psychological, emotional, and physical fulfillment of desires to be able to realize the beauty of life rather than in suppressing them in the name of morality and virtue. So, the self-discovery of Ganesh Acharya conveys a moral that we should not live a life by suppressing our feelings or emotions. So, we should give importance to our emotions, like emotions or physical needs. Uh, those needs are uh, meant to be fulfilled. They are not meant to be suppressed. So it conveys a moral. It, the novel helps in conveying a moral to the readers that self is that's like fulfillment of the desires is very important in the life of a person. The desires are not meant to be suppressed. Instead, it's meant to be fulfilled in the life of a person. Novel highlights two phases of Ganesh Acharya. Acharya tried to restore the Brahminical identity of Narayana. Acharya who himself faces a crisis in identifying his real self, whether he should be priority to virtue or sensuality. Pranesh Acharya, here we can see that Pranesh Acharya actually has two phases. First, Pranesh Acharya can be seen as a person who is trying to restore the Brahminical identity of Narayana. But towards the end of the story, we can see that he himself came into a situation where he questions his Brahminical identity. What is the need of following the Brahmin customs and traditions? What is the ultimate aim of his life? So this is not that important. I mentioned this just because to just for understanding the two types of Acharya, two phases of Acharya. In the beginning of the story, he was the kind of person, he's the kind of Brahmin who tried to tried to restore the grammatical identity of Naranapa, but towards the end, when he became aware about the uh, ultimate aim of the life of a person, he realized that priority should be given to one's emotions and one needs of a person. So moving on to the fourth theme of suffering. The novel depicts the experiences of several characters who undergo various forms of suffering, both physical and psychological, as they struggle to reconcile their personal desires with demands of tradition and social norms. One form of suffering in the novel is experience of social oppression and exclusion. In the case of Chandri, we can see that she suffered because she was a widow and she was a so-called untouchable. So just because she belonged to the lower caste and just because she was a widow and a woman, she was excluded from the society. Chantri is a like, good example to show how people suffer due to the social oppression, social stratification that existed in the society. The next novel also explores the suffering that arises from moral and spiritual conflict. So, in this novel, the characters also suffer due to the moral and spiritual conflict that they face. Characters in the novel are confronted with difficult moral and ethical dilemmas, such as whether to follow the tradition or challenge it, whether to pursue personal desire or community duty, and whether to embrace change or resist it. These conflicts cause intense suffering and anguish as the characters struggle to find meaning and purpose in their lives. So this kind of suffering can be seen in Pranesh Acharya. He find a dilemma when uh, he was forced to take a decision regarding the cremation of Narayanappa. He came into a situation where he whether to follow the tradition or challenge it. So in the case, in the towards the end of the novel, also we can see Pranesh Acharya was facing a kind of identity crisis or facing a crisis when he decided to break up the shells of Brahminic traditions and customs. Suffering that arises from moral and spiritual conflict can also be seen in this novel. Another form of suffering in the novel is the struggle between personal desire and social expectations. So people face the suffering which was produced due to the kind of struggle they faced when they whether they have to when they wanted to take a decision, like whether they should give priority to their personal desire or whether they should give priority to the social expectations. So this is another kind of suffering that the characters faced in this novel. So yeah, men are considered as powerful and women are polluted. So this is an example where people uh, suffer due to the experience of social oppression and exclusion. So men are considered as powerful while women are considered as polluted. Women in the novel, especially the women in the low caste like Chandri, suffered a load due to just because they are women, or like they are women who belong to the low caste. Women and the outcasts are obviously the lowest folk who are denied the basic rights, equality, expression, public action, and last rights. The low caste people or the women are not even able to enjoy their basic rights. They are denied the right to speak in front of men in public. Ganesh Acharya watches himself, like you can see how women are not given any kind of respect, like, especially women in the lower class are not given any kind of respect. Ganesh Acharya watches himself to remove pollution from talking to a Shudra woman during periods in the present world also we can see where women are not given women are considered as polluting according to the traditions and customs existed in different religions. During periods, women in their own caste are considered as are considered as polluted by the Brahmin men. Especially in Hindu religion, we can see that women are not allowed to enter the temples during their periods. Like, this is a very good example to show how people suffer due to this religious system. So in the novel also there are many situations where characters, especially women who belong to the lower class, suffer a lot due to the religious practices or the kind of uh, customs and traditions that existed in different castes. The next one is social oppression and exclusion. Dalits in the north, such as Chandri, are subjected to social and economic discrimination and exclusion because of their caste status. And so, as I mentioned, she was a Dalit. She was excluded just because she was a Dalit and a widow. She was excluded from the society and she was forced to live in the outskirts of the village. So she was not able to enjoy her basic rights. Basic rights. Next, the struggle between personal desire and social expectation. People experience intense emotional and psychological suffering as they try to reconcile their personal desires with the demands of tradition and social norms. So, this kind of suffering when people face a struggle between the personal desire and social expectation is very much evident in case of Pranesh Acharya. He is not able to take uh, any decision in his life because he was torn in between his the customs and traditions of Brahmanism and his human instincts. He was not able to choose what is right for him due to this influence of the due to the influence of the caste system of the religion which he was practicing. Fifth one is theme of hope and despair. Novel depicts the lives of several characters who experience moments of hope and despair as they navigate the complex and often conflicting demands of tradition, social norms, and personal desire. Ganesh Acharya had a hope that he can bring back Narayanappa to the path of Brahmanism, but he came to a point where he began to doubt the value of leading an ascetic life. So Pranesh Acharya, here we can see initially Pranesh Acharya was having a hope. Actually, that hope had no meaning because he don't have any right to decide what, uh, what the life, how the life of Narayanappa should go like. But initially, Pranash Acharya, being a Brahmin, he had a hope that he can bring back Narayanappa back to the path of Brahmanism. But as the story develops, we can see Ganesh Acharya himself faced a situation where he questions what is the need of following Brahmanism, what is the need of following the customs and traditions of Brahmanism. So here we can see how hope turned into despair. Next, in case of Chantri submitted all his jewels at the feet of his mates, Ganesh Acharya's feet, to meet the expenses of the burial rites, hoping that someone will bury Narayana according to the Brahmin tradition. Finally, a fish merchant, Ahmed Bari, accepted the challenge and secretly cremated the dead body at midnight. So here also we can see how Chantri had a hope initially on which turned into a despair. Chantri initially had a hope that Narayanappa, being a Brahmin, will be cremated by some other Brahmin. He will be given a kind of respect that Brahmins claim themselves. But we can see towards the end, no one was ready to cremate Narayanappa, and a Muslim fish merchant, Ahmed Bari, was the one who secretly cremated dead body of Narayanappa. So here also we can see how hope turned into despair. Pranesh Acharya hoped that his religious, yeah, this is actually an indirect kind of example, like indirect kind of example where hope turned into despair. Initially, Pranesh Acharya hoped that his religious texts, morals, and virtues that he practiced during his lifetime will help him throughout his life, but he find a dilemma in the burial issue of Narayanappa. So initially, Pranesh Acharya believed that his religious texts, the kind of customs and practices that he practiced from his very childhood onwards, will help him to live a good life help him to live a good life, will help him to live a good life. It will guide him throughout his life. But after completing reading this novel, we can see that Pranesh Acharya found out that like begin to question himself. What's the need of following these customs and traditions? He faced the dilemma in making a decision regarding Narayanappa's burial. He was not able to take sudden decisions regarding the issue. So in that particular situation, we can see how Narayanappa's hope that his religious text will guide him turned into a despair. So this is all about the theme of hope and despair. So yeah, moving on to the next slide. One of the main sources of hope in the novel is the idea of liberation or moksha. Moksha. Moksha, which is seen as the ultimate goal of human life in Hinduism. Hinduism, moksha is considered as a very important. The ultimate aim of a Hindu is to achieve moksha. The characters in the novel, particularly Ganesh Acharya, struggle to attain this state of spiritual enlightenment, which they believe will free them from the cycle of birth and death. The pursuit of moksha gives the characters a sense of purpose and direction, and it provides them with a hope for the better future. So, the source of hope in the life of a Hindu is to attain moksha. Like, moksha is the ultimate thing in the life of a Hindu, Hindu, especially the Brahmin. So they are living a life by following the religious texts, religious codes, traditions, etc., just to attain moksha. So they consider moksha is the ultimate goal of their life. But towards the end of this novel, we can see how this hope of attaining moksha this hope that following this religious texts or traditions will help them to attain this moksha, turned Ganesh Acharya into turned or placed Ganesh Acharya in the situation where he questions his he questions his real identity. He was not able to identify who he was. From the very young age onwards, he considered him as a uh, Brahmin, not as a human being. He considered him as a Brahmin. So when he decided to break up the choice of Brahmin codes and traditions, uh, he he had no aim in his life. Like he was living a life, he was living a good life by following the traditions and customs just to attain moksha. But when he decided to break off his choice of Brahmanism, he was not having any aim in his life. So this shows how the hope of attaining moksha, according to the Hindu religion, can place a person in a very like in a very critical state. How moksha or the hope of attaining moksha can place a person in a very critical situation. But the novel also shows that people have shows how people have different attitude towards moksha. In case of Naranaka is cynical about the idea of moksha and sees it as an illusion that people cling in order to avoid confronting harsh realities of life. In Naranaka is a very best example to show how people have different attitude towards moksha. Not all people have people hope in moksha, or not all people live their lives according to live their lives in such a way that they are fit to attain moksha. Uh, like Naranaka was not very much concerned about moksha and other stuff. He was like, he was a kind of person who followed his heart. He was not bothered about moksha and all. So sense of hope is often challenged by moments of despair and doubt. So another main idea in this novel is sense of hope is often challenged by moments of despair and doubt. Characters struggle to reconcile their personal desires with the demands of their communities and are often torn between conflicting values and beliefs. This leads to a sense of hopelessness and despair as they grapple with the questions that have no easy answers. So, Pravesh Acharya lived a life with a hope that all his religious texts and traditions will lead him throughout his life, and at the end of his life, he will be able to attain moksha. But we can see how situations in his life turned him or placed him in a situation where he became hopeless and faced a despair when he was not able to answer the questions that arised in his life. So this shows how sense of hope is often challenged by moments of despair and doubt. So that's all about the themes in this novel, Samskara by you or Anantha Thank you.